Hey, this is Blaine Parrott from That Ain't Black podcast. And like I said again, I said a million times, it's really great guests. All my guests are really great. It's really hard to get people on the show because of the name and everything. A lot of times people shy away from it and they don't have nothing to do with it. So the people that do get on the show, I really, really appreciate it. And I've been trying to get this lady for the last past year. She's really hard to get because she's booming out of control in the real estate industry. I ain't seen white folks be doing what she doing, and she's doing this stuff really good. She got what 12 million out of profile, and I was amazed. And a little backstory behind this, I thought it was a lie at first. Ain't nobody doing this much stuff. So I had a friend who is in the real estate industry, and Anna did me a favor. She looked up her information. I don't know how she did it, but she said, "Yeah, she's really good. She's real deal." This is Janel Wilson from what did she build?
She builds, she profits.
Okay, she builds, she profits. So let's get into the interview. How did you, as a black woman, get into the industry? Because most of the time, I see mostly white men, mostly white
Yeah.
folks, men and women. How did you start?
Well, yeah, it's definitely easier for the white men to get started. A lot of their
Yeah,
parents have helped them out and given
yeah.
them gifts of money, but I fell into it because my dad, he had a duplex, but it had he fell behind his taxes and it was actually going to go to sheriff sale. So
Mm-hmm.
my last year of college, I found out it was going for sheriff sale. My grandmother called me and told me, and I went and got a student loan and paid the back tax. I'd never been inside this house ever. It's across the street
Mm-hmm.
from my grandmother's house, and so she knew about it, and I knew about it too growing up, but I didn't really know much about real estate or about the property. I just wanted to save my dad's house. That was just
Mm-hmm.
all I could think about. So it had about 5,000 worth of back taxes, and this was back in 2004.
Mm-hmm.
So I think 5,000 back then would feel like 15,000 now.
Yeah,
To
yeah,
us, it might not sound like a lot of money, but it was a lot of money to be back
yeah.
then as a student
Exactly.
who didn't have any kind of income. So
Mm-hmm.
I got a student loan and paid the back taxes. And then once I graduated, I went into the house for the first time, and
Mm-hmm.
it was a total renovation. It had been vacant for over 10 years. It had been rained on, bad roof, and it had a wall that was collapsing in the back. And I was like, I'll do this later. So
Mm-hmm.
I was working as an engineer, and time went on, and then I got a notice saying that the house was going to get demolished, and it
Wow.
was because it had all these violations and structural issues. It had no floors. Like I said, the back wall was collapsing, and so the city was going to tear it down.
Mm-hmm.
And I went down there to find out what is wrong with it. How can I stop this from it being demolished?
Mm-hmm.
And it had all these violations, and I could not understand the lingo. It was like per code 0.52, and it's
Yeah,
an eminent
yeah.
domain or falling down. So I was just sitting there listening, like, I just wasted my $5,000. This house will get torn down.
Mm-hmm.
But a contractor overheard everything happening, and he was like, "Hey, I can fix all these things for you." And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Really?" Like the sky opened up, the angels were like, "Huh." And I took out another $5,000 on my credit card at a cash advance. I don't recommend that though, but that
Yeah.
was all I knew at the time.
Uh-huh.
And he fixed all the violations for me.
Wow.
And so I got it off the demo list.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm like, all right, I just spent $5,000. Now what am I going to do?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, well, to fix everything else, it'll cost about 25,000. I said, I don't have 25,000. I don't have that available on my credit limit. I don't
Mm-hmm.
have it. So
Mm-hmm.
my grandmother at the time, she said, why don't you just sell it? And I was like, all right, I'll just sell it. And so
Mm-hmm.
I got an offer really quickly afterwards for like $45,000. Now,
Wow.
again, it was in
Mm-hmm.
2004. It
Mm-hmm.
was a total renovation. And I thought the house was worth about 20 or 25. I was like, you gonna be able to pay 45,000 for this?
Mm-hmm.
And me thinking about that was like, you know what? Maybe I should keep it. Because if he would
Mm-hmm.
have offered me 20,000, I would have sold it. And then my life would have been completely different.
Uh-huh.
But since he offered me 45, I was like, I'm gonna keep it and figure this out.
Mm-hmm.
Just that same week, I went to the hair salon and I was telling everyone my debacle, and someone said, I got a house around the corner, and I did a drive-by appraisal. They didn't even go inside the house, and I
Uh-huh.
got a line of credit for $63,000. I said,
Mm-hmm.
what? That sounds perfect. So I fixed
Uh-huh.
up the outside of the house,
Mm-hmm.
and I put new windows on, painted, and then I got a line of credit for $60,000 at a price for 70.
Mm-hmm.
I just fixed the outside, and it was
Mm-hmm.
for $70,000.
Uh-huh.
Now, when I went to closing on this loan, turns out there was an old mortgage, there were liens, water liens, more back taxes. So I wanted to pay another 45,000 at the table.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was left with 20, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
18. And so I used that to fund the rest of the renovation. And I had the regular drama, like contractor was kept going up on me. He stopped showing up. But through everything,
Mm-hmm.
once I finished, I got two Section 8 tenants in there and I made 1150 a
Mm-hmm.
month. And
Mm-hmm.
mind you, my paycheck was about $1,000. So
Uh-huh.
here I am making the same amount as my paycheck, where it took me 4 years to learn engineering, and 6 months after having this house, I'm making the same amount. After I
Wow.
paid the mortgage, I made about $700 a month. So I was like, what? So that was how
Mm-hmm.
I started. My next house was another duplex, and then I just kept buying. But yeah, that's how I got started.
Wow, that's really great. I want to backtrack on that because you said like a lot of white guys and stuff in the industry. Because back I used to be a security officer at Seattle University, and I roomed with some of the students and stuff. And like I got my friend Chad and stuff, and he got into the industry about like 95, 96, and he had a
Mm,
kid and stuff. We kind of went to separate ways and stuff. We hooked back up on Facebook, and now he got his daughter into the industry. He's been around 25, 30 years. And
great.
his daughter's in it, and she knows everything. She was there when she was like 12, 13 years old, going over the contracts, and she brung them up. That's how a lot of them have an
12,
advantage
13.
and stuff. Yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
she's got a real estate license like 18 when it was, I guess, when it was legal or whatever, and now she's
Yep.
doing the same thing he's doing. And
Mm-hmm.
about back taxes and stuff, that's what hits a lot of older African Americans. I know they get retired, and their property value just zooms up, especially like here in Seattle. It's just
Mm,
zoomed up, and they can't pay it, and they
right.
go in and people give them offers and everything, and
Yep.
it's a very unfortunate. Now, how many of us are in the industry, male or female? Would you say like what kind of percentage in the real estate market overall would you give a good guess?
I mean, of course, there's a low percentage,
Yeah,
but I think a lot of us are finding out that we are able to get it,
yeah,
especially if you fixer-uppers. Like the fixer-uppers are cheap.
yeah,
So it is a low barrier of entry for fixer-uppers.
yeah.
So if you learn about the fixer-uppers and about learning the funding to pay
Mm-hmm.
for the purchase and the renovation of it,
Uh huh.
and then you can flip it and make money or rent them out and make money, that makes it a lot easier for us. So I know a lot of us in Philadelphia and other like cities like Baltimore that are buying a lot of fixer-upper real estate, and that is
Mm-hmm.
how we're getting in it.
Wow. Yeah, that's really great. Now, the old saying about real estate is this true? Is location, location, location? Is that true?
Location and timing and
Mm-hmm.
strategies. I don't, it's not, location's important, but there's so many other things that are important as well. So no, I think location is kind of only for people who have money. Like there are certain things that we learn and it's only for people who have money. You got to learn other things for people who have built it differently. So
Mm-hmm.
for us, I think that timing is important and strategies are important. So strategy will be more important for us
Mm-hmm.
because there's different ways of doing things. So if you got money to spend it, yeah, you can buy in a good location where everyone is buying and there's all these amenities and jobs. But for us, we can buy in places where it's low income because
Mm-hmm.
there's always low income funding like Section 8 affordable housing programs. And it's like we already know and understand these neighborhoods and know the people. So it's easier for us to actually do it.
Yeah, because my aunt, she's not technically legally my aunt. My mom came out here about 1960 to Seattle and met my
Mm-hmm.
dad and stuff. And my auntie Lois, she's doing kind of like she has 12 houses, and I was
Okay.
surprised. I haven't seen her in a while. Fortunately, my mom died last year, and they kind of age and everything got in the way and everything. But I was like, oh my god, I couldn't believe Aunt Doris had 12 houses. This is like back in this is 2023. This is like back in I forgot how much, like 15 years ago. She had 12 houses back then. And
Yeah.
Seattle real estate is off the damn chain. It's stupid dumb here. It's just, oh my God, I'm not lying. Go ahead and look it up. I mean, you could have a shack. It goes
Yep.
for $500,000. I'm not lying because I bought my place, a 2 bedroom, 1 bathroom back in 97. Just kind of like pay your rent and it go toward your down payment and everything like that. And I bought that for like 107. They're talking about your place worth $500,000 now. And
Nice.
everywhere in Seattle, it's I got to pay for it too. And everywhere in Seattle, it's out of control. The real estate market up here is crazy. Because I remember I was going to back in like 2008 or whatever. I was going to sell it because I was move down to Vegas. And
Hmm.
the lady was showing me houses around there, and I said, "Wow." I said, "This is 175." She said, "She showing me that's two something 200." I said, "We show me something 220." These are brand new places, and we went to this
Hmm.
one house, and the problems that black folks face and stuff. And this white couple were in there, and they said, yeah, you were from Seattle. Where you from?" I said, "I was about to move down." They said, "We were about to maybe move up there." And I said, "You better get something down here. We can't get a shack up in Seattle for no 225." And a white guy, he got kind of mad, like maybe your neighborhood or something like that. And he said something like Smurdy. And I said, "Whatever, man. You get out my face, man. Whatever." And
Yeah.
I just blew it on off. And the real estate agent, she when we got back in the car, and my buddy was with me. He said, "Yeah, that guy was real smart and stuff." But I said, "Don't worry about that." And I remember when I got back to Seattle, she's a really great real estate agent. So I sent her real estate section out the paper,
Hmm.
and she said, "Oh my God, I can't believe it. The condominiums are 500,000. Oh, it's no wonder you was acting kind of funny. I didn't know what was wrong with you." She said, "The real estate is crazy
Hmm.
up here." And that's what it was. Different parts of the country, some places are up, some places are down or whatever. And it's just crazy. But how long have you been in the industry? All in all?
20 years.
20
When people say
years?
that, I'm like, how old are you? And I'm like,
Well, black don't crack, so.
I know, yeah, black doesn't crack. But yeah, I got started when I was pretty young. So it was like,
Okay.
I was in my last year of college when I took over my dad's house. But yeah, 20
Okay.
years.
All right, that's really great. Are there any kind of intimidating factors when you sit back and work with black people who want to buy real estate? Because a lot of times, it's unfortunate we do a lot of renting and not buying. And
Hmm.
again, with the race issue and stuff, white folks have the advantage over us. They say, "Hey, you want to go ahead and get in something soon." They know the quicks and the back stuff like that, and you need to buy a house. And real estate is real estate. It's one of the, I was talking with Anna a little bit. You got to understand, the real estate is the biggest industry in the world. You drive down the street, you see apartment buildings. Somebody owns that. Houses, commercial property. Somebody owns that. Everybody needs that at one point in time. And it's a huge industry, and we're not taking advantage of it. We should be more taking advantage, but some of us are intimidated because we don't have that kind of background. Because I was kind of intimidated when I first bought my place. I didn't know anything. I remember when I sat down, they signed the paperwork like this much. And it
Yep.
was
The whole
crazy.
book.
I was like, "What, I
You
gotta
signing your
sign all
life
this?"
away.
It took like an hour and something. All this. And I remember I got a buddy of mine, the same guy went down to Vegas. He has a condominium, not a condominium, but apartment. And the, his apartment maybe worth 25, 30,000, but the view's worth $1 million. You can see all the
Ooh.
downtown, the bay, and everything. And I kept on trying to tell him, "Man, why don't you buy this, man? Buy it, buy it, buy it." And he said, "I don't know, man." He's an educated guy too. I said, "Come on, man. You got a college degree, man. You intimidated? What are you intimidated?" "I don't know about that." And I found out a lot of people are doing the research, they're kind of intimidated about buying a
Yeah.
house. What would your
Yeah.
experience be?
It amazes me how the media makes it sound like buying a house is so complicated.
Mm
And it is really a lot easier than anyone thinks. And as soon as I tell people like the steps, it's like, oh, that's it. I'm like, yep, that's it. So
hmm.
I think people overcomplicate processes in general,
Mm
and
hmm.
then you have to get to know people who are doing it seamlessly.
Mm hmm.
Um, I've bought houses in so many ways. I've done subject to, which is when you assume someone's debts and you take over the mortgage.
Mm hmm.
I bought a house for $1 and I've paid them on the back end. So there's just so many ways of buying a house. So the traditional way of buying a house is you would go through a traditional bank. You would save up your like a huge deposit, five if you want to go FHA,
Mm hmm.
20% for a traditional mortgage. They scrutinize your bank statements and your pay stubs and all these. So it makes it sound like it is very hard to get approved for a loan.
Mm hmm.
But there's actually much easier lenders and much easier ways to get properties that usually investors only know about.
Mm hmm.
So I think it would be helpful if they looked into more how investors are buying properties because we're buying and flipping and selling and renting out. It's so easy. I've been doing this for over 20 years and I'm
Mm
always
hmm.
learning a new strategy. There's always more than one way to do something. And if
Mm
something feels too hard, you have to start researching
hmm. Yeah.
and talking to people who have done it
Mm
and
hmm.
have done it several times. So you got to get off of YouTube and start networking. Networking is an amazing gateway to learn new strategies and techniques and things of how to do things.
Mm
So
hmm.
I think we need to network. We need to talk to each other and help each other get ahead because we're very resilient. We're
Yeah.
very resourceful. We've been through a lot. So buying a house is actually a lot easier than you think. And then once you start to network and come to events with investors and business people and entrepreneurs, you'll see how we've done it. And it has not it's rarely the traditional way of how we get things done.
Okay. Now, for everybody here, when should you buy a house? Because I remember I got a buddy, he was in the military, and he came from
Hmm.
a bad background. He's like, I don't want to be like, see my mom struggle or nothing like that. So as soon as he got in, he got that little piece of paper that they give for no down payment. He's like only like 20 years old.
Oh, the VA, yeah.
Yeah.
Great
And
opportunity. You can
yeah,
actually get like one house a year
yeah.
and get more families. Yeah, that's a great straight strategy.
Yeah, because at first I thought it was renting it out. He said, "Nah, man, I don't own it, man." Once he got into the military, went through boot camp, they gave him that piece of paper. He said, "Bam!" Went on out, got his stuff. And when should you should try to buy as soon as you can, right?
I'm actually when my kids turn 18, I'm going to walk them through flipping a house and I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to walk through buying a house.
Okay.
So I think as soon as you're legally able to, they should be buying a house. There's
Yeah.
no downside to buying a house.
Yeah, because I remember this one real estate person said, "Hey, you want to buy as soon as you can, especially if you're
Yeah.
single, because
Yes.
yeah, because you
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 start
know
making money immediately. Like immediately
yeah
once you buy the house, you start paying down on the principal. You start getting money from appreciation. There's so many ways to make money, and the sooner you realize that,
yeah
the sooner that you start buying more properties because you'll be able to see the potential and the value.
exactly because mostly everything goes up up up, not down down down. And also
Yeah.
when you do when you're 21 is different. Like when you're 31, when you're 41, and you're like, hey, wait a minute, I'm with this person and stuff. I want to get my stuff in. So just in case you
Mhm.
meet somebody, they fall out. Hey, I still got mine. You can't take it out away from me.
Exactly. Exactly.
Hey,
I think people are so scarred from the housing crash in 2008
yeah,
that they just keep waiting for a crash, they keep waiting for a recession. They're nervous it's going to happen again. But I'm like, that was a one-time thing. It's very
yeah.
unlikely that it's going to happen again because we learn from our mistakes, you know?
Yeah. But hey, as far as blacks and stuff like that, what what are the advantages, more advantages? Because when you sit back and become a homeowner, you get a different kind of feel. I mean, I got confidence and stuff. I remember telling people, "Hey, I'm a homeowner and stuff."
Homeowner, yeah.
You feel real good. You feel. Plus, I think it also gives us more political power. Because I remember we went to this one meeting. They had this school that they were trying to make an African American community center, and they sat on it for like 20 years. And I only live like a block and a half away from it. And I remember I went to the meeting and stuff and said, hey, we need to get the ball rolling here. I'm a homeowner and I just live down the street here. And I just got up and told them, like, hey, man, you all need to get that. Sitting up there doing nothing. And they kind of looked at me. The white lady looked, you going something? Yeah. Yeah, I am a
Yeah.
homeowner. Yeah, they're like, wow,
Also, it's
you're so
perceived.
young and
Mhm.
stuff, and it does
Yeah,
because you get a more feel about your community because you're vested into it now. You just can't
exactly.
get up and hop away. And then no, that if there's law that passes about something going on in the community, like the street or whatever, like, hey, this is my neighborhood. I own this stuff.
Yeah.
I got to pay
Mhm. I
taxes
pay my
on this.
taxes. Yeah, that's right.
Exactly. I gotta pay my taxes. This is taken away from me. It's not getting make my house go up or down. It was making it go up, making it down. Hey, I'm a part of this. So you start
Mhm.
looking at stuff, because I remember I've always been a voter. And I remember I got my thing back in the mail. I said, what was this? What getting back there? Remember that time you voted for this? And then you had 8 cents per whatever. This is what happened. Your
Yeah.
taxes went up and stuff. You didn't get that. I'm like, well, you pay an extra like 10 cents per $100,000 or $50,000. And I was like, wait a minute, that was it? He said, yeah. So those things really
I
do.
mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You're like, wait a minute, hold
I
on.
mean, I know that taxes go up, but the good thing is that means your value is going up. Like
Exactly.
even if you don't pay attention to what's going on in real estate industry, when you get letters like that and notices that your taxes are going up, that means the value is going up,
Yeah.
and you should keep an eye on what's happening. Like maybe you could refinance your house and take out some cash and buy
Yeah.
some more property. So your
Yeah.
house going up in value is a good thing, and people
Yeah.
should take advantage of it by doing those cash out refinances when the rates drop, and
Hmm.
then and getting into new investments. You can't do that as a renter.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Now I sent you a link, and one of the problems that we had for us as black people is that we're getting lowballed. because I remember they did. It's kind of strange. This guy put his house on the market, and he got
Hmm.
appraised, and he's like, "Wait a minute, this ain't right," or something like that. So he had a white couple come in, and he said, "Hey
Hmm.
man, when the appraiser gets here, could you act like I own the place?" He took down the pictures and everything, put up,
Yep.
you know,
Whitewashed it. Hmm.
yeah, white, yeah, exactly. And they came
Yes.
in $50,000
I think
more or less or
original
whatever.
$300,000. Three
Yeah.
hundred thousand.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, because I remember I seen that, and I remember I seen this thing on King Five, and
Hmm.
used to live in Columbia. I know about Seattle back in my hand, and
Hmm.
it's like my God, $300,000 damn dollar difference. I'll be
Yeah,
off
that's
the
a
chair.
huge
I'll be
difference.
putting my foot up somebody's 300 grand. That ain't nothing to sneeze at. And but
It's
this,
not. That's a lot. It's like how did you even do that? But yeah, he definitely should have challenged that appraisal. But
yeah,
as far as racist people in general, they're everywhere. Yes, there's some racist appraisals. There's racist loan officers, but guess what? There's also people who are not racist who
yeah,
are abundant and want to make money just like you do. I just got appraised yesterday,
mm,
and I had them twice, and I was
mm,
asking them questions because it was the first time I had a house appraised in the suburbs. I mostly invest in Philadelphia,
uh
so
huh,
I had this house appraised in the suburbs, and I know that different amenities make your house more valuable. So
yeah,
like, bathrooms have a certain value. Fireplaces I learned have a certain value. So I asked him, says, okay, so since we're in a county, does it make a difference in adjustment that these houses have? And he sat there and talked to me for like 20 minutes and
yeah,
tell me like how to get a higher appraisal in the suburbs. I'm like,
mm,
great. So there just like there's racist people, they're just haters basically. There's also
yeah,
people who are not racist. So you just have to align yourself with people who are not racist and who will help you
uh huh,
and teach you, because everything I've learned has been from other people. It has
yeah,
not been from people who look like me. So I
yeah,
have learned a lot from others in this industry
yeah.
and tactics and strategy. So yes, I do admit that there's a ton of racist, systemic racist things that are still going on.
Mm.
And it makes us feel discouraged that no matter what we do, we cannot get ahead.
Uh-huh.
But you have to believe that there's still people who are out here who have done it and who are doing it and are showing you how. I am happily showing people what banks to go through, what to say to appraisers, how to do your house so that it appraises for higher, how to rent for higher. So
Mm-hmm.
there's just tactics and strategies that we have to do and just make sure we watch out for racist people. But there's
Mm-hmm.
a ton of people who are not and who are willing to help you.
Okay. Now, when someone goes buys a house, what are the things that they should look for? Like kitchens, bathrooms, of course. That's a more bathrooms, more better. Is that true, or what does she
As
look
far as
for?
an investor or a homeowner,
Homeowner.
I mean, it depends on what they're trying to do.
You're trying to raise. Again, is it the location, or can I
Yeah.
fix this up? Because I remember they got these little things. You should. Is that true that you should buy the worst house in the best neighborhood?
Yep.
Yeah,
Mhm.
okay.
That still works
Yeah.
for sure. That's like talking about buying a fixer upper
Yeah.
in a good neighborhood, which I have always done. Even the house that I live in now was also a fixer upper. So for a first time homeowner, I think they should absolutely go for something that needs like cosmetic renovation because they won't
Mm-hmm.
pay top dollar. If you buy a house that has a brand new kitchen, brand new bathrooms, everything just going to be done, you're going to pay top dollar. You're not going to buy a house with any equity. And it is
Mm-hmm.
so easy to add the equity yourself. Like even a simple paint job could increase equity. So if you buy a house where someone has lived there for like 40 years, where they have taken care of it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just outdated, those are the perfect houses for first-time buyers, even first-time investors, because everything should work. All the major systems should work. The electric is working, the plumbing is working. You just have to make it pretty. And it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't cost a lot of money to make things pretty. You can paint cabinets these days, add new hardware, add backsplash, and it looks like a brand new kitchen. Change your light fixtures.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you can add bathrooms. If you get something that has a basement, you can finish that basement. So add more living space. So there's a lot of ways to add value to a property. But the most important way is you make money when you buy. And so
Yeah.
you want to buy something that has potential. If you buy something that has old, but everything works, that has a ton of potential for you to spend maybe 10,000 fixing it up and it be worth another 50,000.
Okay. Okay. That's really great. Now, what about like sweat equity? Of course, should you sit back and compare to hiring a contractor? I mean, what do you
Mhm.
look for when you go for like a contractor who wants to do your roof or whatever? Because I know they got some shady guys out there. Come on in,
Yeah,
take your
absolutely.
down payment. You never see them again.
I know, 50% down payment. Yeah, and they disappear.
Yeah.
So I always recommend for people to manage their own renovations. Like, don't hire a general contractor. General contractors are people who manage the electrician, they manage the plumber, they manage the carpenter. You can actually manage it yourself and save a ton of money because they
Mm-hmm.
probably tack on another 10 or 20, $40,000 or maybe double the price. So if you can just
Wow.
you can go to a local hardware store and ask the person who works at the desk, like, do you know a carpenter who can redo my kitchen? Do you
Mm-hmm.
know an electrician who can do my kitchen? You can work directly with these licensed subs and get everything done yourself for like half the price. So
Wow.
that's what I usually recommend for people. Don't go through a general contractor, but manage the job yourself. You'll probably pay about half.
Wow. Serious? I didn't know that. It saved a lot of money there. What about
Yeah.
investing in other properties in different states?
Out of state investing.
Yeah.
So I recommend people to at least go there at least one time. I mean, there's definitely ways that you can not go there, and but it really requires you getting lucky with finding a good
Uh-huh.
like boots on the ground. A boots on the ground person is someone who goes and looks at the stuff for you. So you
Yeah.
you typically have to network to find that person, or at least go there yourself. But investing out of state is definitely possible. And people who live in expensive places like California, Atlanta, parts of Texas, they always look for places to invest out of state. They like to invest in Detroit, Cleveland, other parts of Ohio, Baltimore, and Philly a lot. And you just
Mm-hmm.
have to find a good person who there that will look at the house for you, who follow up with the contractors, send you pictures and videos, and just be your eyes for you. Now you're going to pay a little bit more just because you have someone who's helping you, but it'll definitely be cheaper than hiring a general contractor again. So
Good.
if you live
Good.
out of state and you live in expensive areas, almost your only option to have some a boots on the ground for you. But they're easy to find. You know what? I'm not gonna say they're easy to find. They're out there, but
Mm-hmm.
you just have to find them and know how to manage them and the contractor and manage your money and just be careful. Well, why are we selling? Are we selling just to make a quick profit, or are we selling because we're moving? Because you
Yeah,
always
because
want to keep
I
these are assets that are doing nothing but going up in value. So I try to talk people out of selling and just
serious
refinancing. Yeah,
because
yeah.
my big I was
Oh
like,
yeah,
yeah, that's
Vegas. Yeah, about prices drops substantially in Vegas. I
yeah.
remember that was on the news one time. Okay, so yeah, if you're gonna move, then yeah, you can just sell the house and move. But you want to put a little bit of work into it to get top dollar.
Uh-huh.
And usually a real estate agent will come in and give you a lot of tips. They'll tell you to declutter. Definitely want to clean and paint. Clean and paint does so much. Clean and
Damn.
paint, make sure it looks bright and airy. And staging does a lot. You want to make sure you got plants and pictures hanging up. It's like the perception of value is what you have to get. You don't have to spend a lot of money, but just the perception that the house looks nice with staging, paint, and cleaning does a ton.
Hey, stupid question. I know this probably like shouldn't say it, but what about selling it yourself? Would you be better getting a real estate agent or trying to sell
Um,
it or what?
it depends. So real estate agents, they're providing a service.
Uh-huh.
They're marketing your property. Hopefully they have connections with other brokers and realtors and that can connect you to a good buyer. And also it's the paperwork that they're helping you with. They're helping you navigate through the appraisal. They're helping you navigate the home inspection. So if you get a home inspection and all these things come back wrong, they have people that they can recommend to fix the things for you. And they can give you advice on how to navigate it. So if the homeowner is requesting this and that, you say, well, do I really need to do this? And they say, no, because they saw this when they saw the house. Like
Mm-hmm.
I had one where they were asking me to remove a tree
Uh-huh.
because the inspector said that the roots might get into the sewage system and
Uh-huh.
or the plumbing. And I was like, do I really need to remove the tree? She said, no, they saw the tree when they put it in the offer. Like, no, you don't have to do that. So
Uh-huh.
it's like another person to get their opinion from and help you with how to negotiate. So if you're a seasoned house flipper, you might not need a realtor, but they are
Mm-hmm.
helpful.
Okay, what should you look for in a realtor?
Good realtors are experienced. So I try not to hire anyone. Like I don't use any title company, no electrician, no HVAC person who's not been in the business for 10 years.
Oh,
So I'm not
okay.
working with any new realtors.
Okay.
Yeah, because they haven't been able to stand the test of time. So they don't know how to handle problems yet or deal with conflict. So I want a realtor who is experienced. So 10 years
Okay.
experience is the minimum.
Damn.
Then
You got to put a decade in. Okay.
10 years. 10 years, you've probably been through a lot. And
Yeah.
you're still here. You're still lasting. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not hiring no mentor, no real estate person who has only been doing this for 3 years. I'm like, you haven't learned nothing. But
Wow.
anyway, so the experience number one, and I think that's pretty much it. But you want to work with someone who is really has your back and not
Mm-hmm.
focused on just the money,
Uh-huh.
because then they'll force you to close in situations where you're not happy. So just someone who focuses on you, someone who doesn't like need the money and actually like cares about their job and you,
Mm-hmm.
um, and knowledgeable and connected. So yeah, I think that's it.
Okay, there any tax benefits and everything that you get? Cause I remember this interview that they were doing this rock group called Incubus, and they said they bought this house because they can use part of it for their like recording studio and to get tax write off because they're doing business. I was like, what? And, I never thought about that. Is that any?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Business owners, real estate investors, we hardly pay any taxes because we write everything off. So yeah, I can say part of my house is I use for business and can write that off.
Mm-hmm.
But the biggest tax write-off for real estate investors is depreciation. And it's not like a real loss, it's a paper loss. It's on paper.
Yeah.
So you get this huge deduction. I think I have like over 200,000 in depreciation on my tax returns every year.
Damn.
And not even real. It's not real. Like it's a fake loss. It's a paper loss. So I have $200,000 in depreciation that I can take off of my taxes. So I might get like I think I get like maybe $400,000 or $500,000 in gross rents.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have my mortgage payments. I got insurance and real estate taxes, and I probably gross maybe 200. And now I'm taking off 200,000 in depreciation. So now my tax liability is zero. I think I paid
Damn.
probably 10,000 in taxes last year. So yeah, real estate taxes.
Oh man.
Real estate investors don't pay any taxes. Like it's the biggest benefit that people overlook. And I think they overlook it because there's not a lot of buy and hold investors. A lot of flippers, a
Yeah.
lot of flippers, but not a lot of buy and hold real estate investors.
Wow. Okay, so these sisters or brothers are out there want to be doing what you're doing. What kind of advice, like wisdom or advice, would you go ahead and give them about getting in the game?
Um, I feel like this advice that I'm about to get is really unappreciated, but it's such a huge thing. But you have to get outside and network.
Yeah.
You have to go to real estate events. You can go on Eventbrite or Meetup and type in real estate investing,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll find all types of events in your area. And you need to go and start networking with people because you need to build a team. You need to know what banks to use. You can exchange contractors. You can exchange insurance brokers, title companies. Like you can get every person that you need for your team at a real estate event and get started. And you can build up your close team of people that you ask questions with and network with and hang out with and run ideas by, go and start partnerships. Like there's so many things you can do once you get out and start networking. So get
Mm-hmm.
out from behind a TV or a computer or your phone and go to places. I know COVID has made us want to stay in the house more, but
Uh-huh.
we have to get out and network with each other. So that's the number one advice is to go to real estate meetups. Meet good people who are just like you, who want to give and enjoy helping each other and start exchanging resources and then get started. Like hire a realtor, go find a hard money lender
Mm-hmm.
and get started.
Okay. Now, what about one of the biggest questions on that? What about all this stuff on TV? They always talk about, oh yeah, I started picking up cans one month, and next thing you know, I was driving a Ferrari, a Lamborghini. Come my thing
Uh,
for $179.99. I'll teach you all the secrets I can. Are they
the
helpful? Is
rags
that?
to riches story, yes. The rags to riches is a very popular storyline to it's a marketing tactic. So that people because people look at me and they feel like, oh, she was born into money. She's rich.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, the dad that had the duplex that he gave me, the reason why it went 10 years without having the taxes getting paid is because he got on drugs.
Yeah.
He got on drugs, he let everything go. He left my mom, and I had to go live with my grandmother.
Uh
And after
huh.
that, I was like considered low income. And this was at 10 years old.
No.
And a lot of us do have stories like that, but
Yeah.
I personally I don't like to share it, but I know I should just so people don't just look at me and write me off and say, "Oh, I can't learn from her. I can't learn
Yeah.
from her because she comes from money."
Uh
So
huh.
people tell these stories just so they can relate to them and feel like, oh, okay, they've been poor. And let me find out what they did to get money. So
Yeah.
it is just so they seem more reliable, more relatable, and so that they can learn the method. But I even though my dad had this property and that's what helped me, it is absolutely me going through the struggles of being low income and learning how to be resilient and being told no and
Hmm.
learning how to do things with credit because I didn't have money.
Hmm.
Learning from my parents who had bad credit, who I would say, why can't our car would break down on the side of the road. I say, Mom, why can't we buy a new car? She said, because I have bad credit.
Yeah,
So
that's the
I
same
heard
thing with my
we
mother and
have
everything.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I heard we can't do anything because we have bad credit for so long that now my credit is excellent because I've been
Hmm.
traumatized
Yeah,
into
yeah.
having good credit.
Uh-huh.
And so these stories are important just so that you know that we are resilient and we've been through a lot. And this is what has built us as strong entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurship is really a lot of being able to take a lot of a beating. We
Uh-huh.
go through a lot. People
Yeah.
don't realize that we go through a lot, but we find a way.
Yeah.
We take no for an answer. We fall down, we fail, but we get back up again and keep pushing. We learn a lesson and keep pushing.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And man, you've been a really, really great guest and everything, and I really appreciate having you on. And to just wrap this up, because you were mentioning something about resilience, and I took some notes and everything about black
No?
people. Yeah, no, black folks in our past and stuff, because we had like the Oklahoma back in 1921, the Black Wall Street, and that got bombed out. There were black places in America. We were striving. We had banks, churches, businesses, barber shops, theaters, and they just got rid of it. They did us really dirty. And you know about redlining and everything and all the problems that we went through. And I remember
Mhm.
came across an article about Bruce's Beach, and we had a big dance club there and it's resort and it was private to ourselves and everything, and they just came in with eminent domain. It was Jack and Brothers left and right. Go ahead and do your research. Don't take my word for it. Black folks really did have it back in the day, but unfortunately, it was the government and racism that we were faced. We got it taken away from, and we probably could have been a lot more prosperous if we would have just went ahead and just let us do our things. We did. We did have places in America where there were a lot of people like Central Park. That was predominantly African American, but they came in and said, "Hey, we need this stuff." And just
Mhm.
like when I mentioned before, Bruce's Beach, they just came and said, "Hey, this is really nice. We're gonna jack y'all, take it." And that was really great. But man, you've been a really, really, really great guest. And any words, anything you want to go ahead and say before we end this session? Any kind of shout out? Do you have anything coming on in the future? You're gonna go on tour or anything? You're gonna put out a book?
Tour.
Yeah.
Well, I do teach real estate sometimes. A few times a year, I do what's called a real estate challenge,
Uh
and
huh.
for 5 or 6 days, I teach you the full step of how to buy properties, how to get them off market through auctions or foreclosures, how to contact the owner and get the houses for cheap. I teach you hard money lenders and how to apply, how to do your scope of work, teach you how to find contractors, and how to make money through rentals in Section 8, like how to get the
Mm-hmm.
highest rents for your properties. And then we also have special guests. So they come on and teach you tax strategies. So if you want to come onto my Instagram profile, you can find me. And I also share tons of stories about tenants and contractors. And I give a lot of free tips on there too.
Wow,
But
that's really great because I'm unapologetic when it comes to blacks being in business doing positive things. Because,
mhm.
Budweiser, they don't make any apologies by being the brew kings. Coca Cola and Pepsi and stuff, they're selling millions of cans and they don't apologize for nobody. They don't give a damn how much Coke you drink and what it affects your health. And they may be making billions of dollars. And I
They do.
yeah,
That's
and they,
sugar.
yeah, so I'm very unapologetic about getting blacks in business, and black people are doing a lot of stuff. They're doing wine companies, liquor, every kind of doing it all. So we go
Yeah.
ahead and get out this box that the only thing that black folks do is rap, dance, and sing, and we're doing a lot
Oh
of stuff. And
no.
yeah, we got to sit back up for younger blacks and stuff. This one they can look up to somebody, positive role models. They can look up to. They can say, "Hey, she did it. She knows
Yeah.
it. She got
They
our
can do
same kind of
it. I do
background."
it too. Hmm.
Exactly, especially when you come from a hard background like me, I'm from, you from. You're like, damn, she can do it. Really? If she can do it,
Yeah.
I can do it. And you can
You
sit
know
back.
what? That
Yeah,
really inspired me a lot throughout my journey. Like I see the dumbest people
yeah.
with PhDs, making all this. I said, I'm pretty sure I'm smarter than this person.
Yeah.
Like I quit my job when I was 30. I've been working for 8 years.
Uh-huh.
And I quit my job because I met another real estate investor. He had less properties than me. I was pretty sure we're smarter than him. And he was out here doing this on his own. He was
Yeah.
like, yeah, like flip properties, wholesale this. And I was like, really? So I
Uh-huh.
found a lender. Like first, I was like, I need to be sure I can get loans once I quit my job because
Yeah.
they typical lenders ask for your pay stubs and want your W-2s. But I talked to a lender to make sure I could do it. I was like, all right, if he could do it, I can do it. And
Exactly.
it was true. So it's like a lot of times I see people who are not as bright as me,
Mm-hmm.
making more money. And so that's what inspires me to feel like I can do this too. And you
Yeah.
actually can. Like it is so easy to make money once you know how to do it.
Yeah.
Like it is just about learning the strategies. That's it.
All right, man. You were hard late to get, but you were well worth the wait. And I want to thank
Oh,
you
thank you.
one
I'm
more.
glad. I'm
Yeah, I
glad.
want you to thank you one more time again for being on my show, and also thanks for hanging on with a little technical faux pas there. You didn't see that. Everybody, we're gonna edit all this kind of stuff together, but she hang around for like 10, 15 minutes. We was trying to do our stuff, so that goes to show me what a great lady she is. And thanks a lot for being on That Ain't Black podcast. Now, do you want to go ahead and end this and tell us about your company name, and they may get in contact with you or anything?
Yeah, sure. So you can see my free class on shebuildssheprofits.com. And again, just find me on Instagram and get to know me before you want to sign up for any of my courses. I'd rather you get to know me, trust me, do some research on me just like you did,
Uh-huh.
just to prove I'm worth. But I have a lot of multifamilies, small multifamilies, and I rent to Section 8. I've been in this business for 20 years, and I'm showing you how to do it too. I see a lot of people teaching stuff that's not correct.
Uh-huh.
Then it to scare you with fear tactics, but it's a lot easier than what you think it is. So I'm here to show you that you can do it, that you can absolutely live the life that you want to live, freedom through real estate, flipping properties, making 50,000, 100,000 per flip,
Woo!
and making through rents. So yes,
Yeah.
it's possible. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thanks
Thank you so
again.
much for having me. Thank you for being persistent and
Yeah,
getting me
yeah,
on.
I had to. I had to say, I got to get this lady. I got to do what I got to do. I said, no, I got to get on the show. I definitely got to get on the show. And it was kind of tough and working, but I stepped in. I said, no, I got to get it. Some God told me, I got to get on the show. And I really, really great that you were on my show. Like I said, my friend Anna down there in Vegas, she looked at you. She said, hey, you got to get on the show, man. You definitely got to get her. And she was
Thank
really
you.
right. And thanks again for being on That Ain't Black podcast with Blaine Parrott.
Thank you for having me. All right. Take care, Blaine.